love the music. The DJ is incredible.
The people are really awesome.
Headshot. Sit down. Hand up. Pass out. Wake up. Hate it.
So it's hard to make the dollar hurt. All we need is good green and some boo-loo. 5 to 1, so it's guaranteed you can do you. Still keep the heater just in case we have a boo-boo. Kansas City natives and we are a little cuckoo. 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 Cuckoo.
This the type to make the hood go crazy. On the interstate doing 180. She said do it for me, baby. Took a double shot and then we all went crazy. White girls crazy. White girls crazy. White girls crazy. White girls crazy. Black girls go crazy. College girls go crazy. This the type of to make the hood go crazy.
So much liquor, I never spared that kitchen. Keep it so I usually have a pair that's kissing. And I'm lifted on purple hair that's sin. Now that's what I call a fucking air technician. Down there, they got the hair that's missing. Keep it bare, I promise I'll never tear that kitten. I'm aware sex hitting is the care when I share that sticking. So good I might impair that vision. So I dip in, then dip off. Look for another chick, then they pissed off. Till I give them another split, then they lift off. Party is the mission. I did cross 3 thick friends. We mix in these licks when they big friend wanna lip off. Lip off, lip off, lip off, lip off, lip off, lip off.
All right, welcome back, brothers and sisters. This is the Alchemix channel. Thank you so much for checking it out if this is your first time. Today we're going to be looking at the Numark Mixtrack Platinum Effects. It's a smaller 4-channel controller. It's only got 2 up faders, 2 rows of EQs, so not all of us can wrap our minds around how to use it as a 4-channel controller, but it is, I believe, the first controller that had these effects paddles, which are becoming more and more popular, especially if you're more of a 2-channel kind of DJ. I found out about this thing when I went in to buy a Rev 1. They had this in the demo room, and I was impressed. It felt more solid than the entry line Pioneer units can. I know the DDJ 200 felt like a hollow plastic box to me. It's really nice how small that rig was, but I wanted something with 3-band EQs. Those micro rigs usually go to just a high-low EQ, which I can't do. The DDJ 200 didn't even have gain control. There's just a lot you lose when you shrink down to that size. I think this is about as small as you can get if you look at like the Tractor S4 and S3. That's also a really good compact layout for that much kind of control over your music. So this thing, I got it in the Platinum. I'm glad I did. I like to get the more special editions because sometimes when you go to resale, it helps to flip a little faster. I did get a deck saver for this one, which that's an indication I intend to keep it. They make those Magma soft cases with a deck saver in that. That's really the easiest way to travel without the weight of a flight case. Most gigs, that's a lot of protection for just that kind of stuff. That's how I like to roll with my SX2, my RX2. This thing is very portable. I like the fact that I don't have to plug it into anything. I can take my laptop and a little power bank for that. And this little speaker back here has a battery on board. Like I could go play with a stand and just go for hours. You know, like I imagine I could I could do a full like 12 hours without having to plug in, which it's a lot of fun if you can actually get like off grid and still be able to mix music. The quality, really, I have to like go there again. Like these knobs, they don't have any wiggle in them. They all have nice even tension on everything. The faders are all smooth. The pitch faders is a big advantage over the Rev 1. The Rev 1 had much smaller, awkward pitch faders. This, when I go into even 50% stretch, is very accurate. Like these are they might feel nicer than the SX2 pitch faders, which were really, really nice. The big issue I have with the cue pads, they are clunky. They're probably the least responsive hot cues I've ever had. You just can't really go hard on them and have it pick everything up. And I'm spoiled. I'm used to a Machine MK3 or an MPC Live, which are velocity sensitive. You can do 1/28 notes and stuff. You know, it's crazy. But this is very clunky and awkward. You have to really press and make sure you try and be consistent with where you hit the pad and how hard you hit it, or else it's going to miss a lot of cues on you. I hate my MCX 8000 had a similar problem to this. All of the LEDs are on all the time, and then whichever mode you're in, it's just a little bit brighter, and it's hard to tell, honestly. Like it's something that I wish that with a firmware update, maybe they could make the ones that are dim more dim or something. I don't know. But that never happened with the MCX 8000 as far as I know. The other thing I don't like with this pad feature, the loop, the auto loop is nice. That's great for like transitioning from one track to another. However, usually you can do an alternate shift function on the auto loops and get what's called loop roll, where you can pick a spot and do your loop, and then it'll automatically jump back to where it's supposed to be playing in the track. And I've played with this quite a bit. I can't find a way to access that feature on this rig, which I like that one a lot. So that one is a bit of a miss for me. Let's see, what else? This is such a tight control surface. I don't know how you can really remedy this. However, the Rev 1, the platters, they are a lot more shallow, if you notice. When I'm hitting the knobs sometimes here, playing with the EQs or the filters, I have had issues where my knuckles might bump the control surface of the platter and it stops the track, and that can get awkward. But yeah, there's just, again, not a whole lot you can do with a control surface this small. The jog wheels are the heaviest jog wheels I've felt on probably any rig. They just keep spinning. What I could compare it to is, like, for some reason the standalone units, they like to put these really loose jog wheels on them. The MCX 8000, my DDJ RX2, were both like that, just epic backspin type jog wheels. The difference though is, like, although free spins like that, these things are way heavier. The MCX 8000 and the RX2 were relatively lightweight, especially in comparison to these. This thing, it feels like they got like some lead weights under the platters. Like they're really quite heavy, and it's not easy to juggle with it. It's awkward. Yeah, the actual conductive platter surface is very accurate, but the wheels, if they're spinning at all, it's affecting the track, and it's very hard. When you're DJing on vinyl, you always pitch it a little bit so it spins with the platter, like, and this, you can't do that at all. You gotta just kind of lift your finger directly up off of the platter. The pitch fader caps, when I first got this thing, they're way too wide. It actually completely covers like the reference marks that are on there to kind of give you a gauge of where you're at. So I did borrow some caps from a DDJ FLX6 or whatever the heck it is, and they're a little skinnier. It helps me to at least be able to see an idea of where I'm at. I do usually like to put these little tiny micro caps off an old Gemini mixer on them, because again, if you're juggling, sometimes you'll actually bump those faders and mess up your pitch. But they didn't fit on this one. They did fit on my SX2. I really liked them there. But yeah, if I can find something even a little skinnier and maybe a little smaller, I'll probably swap these out again. But yeah, it's nice having the extra display on the jog wheels. I haven't really used it much yet. The little needle indicator, it's a little clunky. There's some latency there, and it's not like a high refresh rate, but it is accurate if you kind of learn to compensate for the lag. You'll be just fine. But I've taken this out. I've performed with it a couple of times. It's a really handy unit, very, very useful. But definitely I haven't gotten to the point where I'm able to compensate for all the little quirks. Every rig, there's no such thing as a perfect rig, that's for sure. But for what I wanted, more just like a little mobile tank, this is pretty perfect, and I'm very stoked to have this. I did get rid of my DDJ 200. I did get rid of my XP1. They just it was a good combo, but this is just so much easier. I don't have to have a hub to plug everything in. It's definitely an excellent grab and go rig. It doesn't take up a lot of space, not very heavy. But yeah, one other thing I did notice, and again, I'm not 100% sure if this is hardware. This could be Serato software. On most of my other hardware rigs that have echo features, when you're at 100% wet and you set a 4-bar loop or an 8-bar loop, it's going to go forever. When you're 100% wet, it is just on a loop now. On some of my rigs, you can then transfer that to another channel, so that if you're like basically sampling a loop off of vinyl, then you can scratch over it and stuff. This one, even when it's on 100% wet, it fades out slowly, very, very slowly. It takes a long time, but it does eventually fade to nothing, which I'm not used to. A little weird, but yeah, not a huge deal. I could always just set an auto loop. So yeah, I would definitely recommend considering this if you're looking at the Rev 1. If you really want to just scratch on a controller, you know that's all you want, I would say the Rev 1 might be better for you. If this is something you're trying to get more of an all-around kind of rig, this is awesome. It honestly reminds me, it's kind of reminiscent of the old Vestax VCIs 400s and stuff. I was trying to get one of those when I first started, but they had already been out of production for quite a while, and I couldn't find any that were actually like fully functional. So yeah, this thing is, Vestax made amazing gear back in the day. It really kind of reminds me of that, even though I never personally owned one myself. They were just very legendary back then. So yeah, consider this, because if you're like me, you're trying to have a more all-around unit that's nice and compact, I like this and prefer this over the Rev 1 for sure. So glad you guys stopped in. I hope that you guys found this helpful. If you had any questions, comments, go ahead, leave them down below. And I hope I can catch you guys on the next video. Love you guys. Peace.